Hi, I'm Danny Ecker with your Chicago Business Today Midday Report. It's a time of change for the City Colleges of Chicago, which is undergoing a transformation to get students trained for unfilled jobs in growing industries. That's been a point of emphasis both for Mayor Emanuel and the new City College's Chancellor Cheryl Hyman, who is gearing the program toward awarding more certificates and associate's degrees with tangible job market value, but that's drawing some criticism from those who say it restricts students' career options. Joining me now via Skype with more is Jim Wizella, who wrote this week's special report for Crain's. Jim, the reinvention of city colleges raises an interesting discussion about the purpose of the system. What are those in opposition to this new path saying about it?
Well, Danny, people have been arguing about or debating what the role of city colleges should be for a long time. And in fact, it has, many different roles. And it's not that anybody is opposed to vocational training for students. No one is against the idea of giving students the skills they need or the training they need to get a certificate that might connect them with an employer who actually has a job that needs filling. Everyone thinks that's a good idea. The real debate is whether we're tipping the balance between those students and sort of pushing for the vocational training and not spending as much emphasis on the students who come to city colleges for a very different reason, which is that it's affordable and accessible, and it gives them a leg up to go to a four-year university and get a bachelor's degree and beyond, and the jobs that might be open to them with that sort of degree.
Yeah, there's a fine line to walk there. And what's the makeup of the City College's student demographic right now? And how has that changed, and how are the current enrollment numbers trending?
Well, city colleges, you would think that in such tough economic times that city colleges enrollment would be rising, but it's actually gone down the last few years. That decline is starting to level out, and there's about 117,000 enrolled now, so it's huge. That's bigger than the 5 biggest universities in the area combined. The demographics are, very diverse, which is one of the issues facing city colleges and a lot of community colleges. You've got a lot of students who can't go full time, so they're part-time students. They have to work or they have families. You have a large percentage, about 80% of the students are minority. About a third of them live in poverty. So there are a lot of barriers to student success there. And all the studies kind of look at that and say, here are the things that prevent students from completing whatever education they're pursuing. And city colleges has them all.
Right, and you mentioned the mayor is obviously behind this. How will he measure if the City Colleges is accomplishing its mission?
Well, it's interesting because even the people who are sort of arguing about this, they can't even quite agree on the numbers. The big number that got bandied about for the last couple of years was the number 7% graduation rate, which is horrible by any measure, by anyone's standards. But the way they measure graduation rates, they only count first-time, full-time students. Well, at city colleges, that's about 12% of the students. So there has to be a broader way to measure success. Now, if students are ultimately getting certificates and being placed in jobs, that's certainly a good measure. If more of them are completing their studies and transferring to four-year institutions, that's a good measure. The proof will be in those numbers, but as long as they use numbers that sort of look at the entire population and how they're doing.
All right, Jim, good story. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Danny.